Mitch from Hard Intentions, and I have a guest on today that I've been waiting for quite a while to interview, and this is actually our second go-round because the first time it didn't record. So if you, without further ado, how'd you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, what's going on? My name is Dwan Newman, aka Dwayne Newman, new baby from my South Central LA. Coming up in that life out the low bottoms off that east side,
Right?
representing Gilbert Lindsay Park, when I was young and not just representing life, man,
Yeah,
coming up here trying to make a difference and tell them, that ain't the way, Mitch. So,
yeah.
I came up
So,
with a hard knocks life and, you know, been
yeah,
indoctrinated in the gang since I was like nine years old, running around hanging out with my brothers who was all gang members and shit. So, did, 32 years in them prisons and came out on the other side, man. Blessed to be able to tell somebody something different about that life, man.
so you grew up in South Central?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm what they call, a old relic in the neighborhood, man.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
when
So,
I got out the joint, I got out, dudes was looking for me to still knock motherfuckers out, man. I was like, I don't live like that no more, man. They was looking
yeah,
at me, they was looking for this angry guy that, that came out that was angry and mean when he went in, they was looking for that menacing cat.
yeah.
And they saw this, they saw me smiling, man. They ain't never seen that, man.
I
I
had a
gotta keep
homeboy.
that look.
I had a homeboy call me when I got out of prison, and he says, "Yeah, he was talking to another one of my homeboys. He told him I was out, and he goes, 'Oh, that ain't shit. He's gonna go right back anyway.'" So that's the memory of the old person that they used to know before we went in.
Yeah, that's what they looking for, that old dude, man. But they
Yeah,
don't know, man. You really mature in prison, or you
yeah,
stay in that motherfucker.
yeah.
So uh, it
So
was.
for our listeners, I like to give them a little bit of background, like where you grew up, what kind of family life you had, if you'd like to get into that. What led you to the person you are now, where it started.
Well, shit. I come up. My father had 16 kids by 5 different women out of LA. My father was, some people that's black know, your papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. That's how my father was. 11 boys, 5 girls. All my family was gang members except for one, my sister Tony. She was the only one that didn't represent nothing. But I came up off South Central, like I say, it's not too far from Watts. I mean, excuse me, from downtown Skid Row.
All right.
So I live like right on that strip of San Pedro. It's not too far from downtown. I can walk to Skid Row, man. And in
Mhm.
fact, we used to go down there jacking bras. We jacked them bras and Figueroa too, the hoes in Figueroa. We used to
Yeah.
go. I forgot about that, man. We used to go jack them hoes in Figueroa, go up there and rob them little boys at SC.
Yeah, I
I
worked
can
there, so I know
remember
where that's at.
being young, going up there jacking them boys at USC, man. And shit, taking their money, their cars, and they bikes and shit, man. So I didn't think about that when we first was talking, man. But some of them old crimes, you forget them because they so old, man. But
Yeah.
that was part of like how I started off too. My brothers, they was all hustlers and gang members, and following them around. I wanted to be like my brothers, man. I did what they did. So I
Right.
was always hanging around people that was 6, 8, 10 years older than me. I'd be nine
Yeah.
years old hanging out with dudes that's 15 years old, 20, 21. You
Right.
know, um, it's just how I came up, man. I came up in South Central, like I said, on the east side. They call it the low bottoms.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
people that know about that, Carver Junior High School was one of them tough schools. Moms didn't even want me to go to Carver. In fact, I didn't go to Carver. She bust my ass somewhere else. She made sure that when we finished elementary school, that we didn't go to no more schools on the east side because, everybody was trying to get out that neighborhood. It was probably
So they
strictly.
like super rough schools.
Oh yeah, Carver Junior High. You ask anybody about Carver, Carver was a school that nobody wanted to go to. And when you went there, you're gonna either be, a Crip or a Blood, and you're gonna fight going to school. You're gonna fight coming home from school.
So was there like a lot of was there like gunplay there,
Oh,
knives,
yeah.
fighting, what?
It was guns there, jackings, shootings, killings. stabbings, rapes. You know, bras was getting raped in junior high school when I was going. You know, coming up. You know,
And
uh,
that was like the early '70s, right?
it's late '60s, early '70s. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so uh, unlike Columbine, you know, we've been having metal detectors in schools and
yeah,
armed guards and police hanging outside, you know, trying to make sure people came home safe, you know.
yeah.
I remember when I was in elementary, they had a big shootout at the high school, Jefferson High School, where a couple of people was, you know, injured real bad. One girl lost her leg. She was paralyzed for life, you know, so all that stuff was natural to me, you know.
Right.
You learn how to, when you're walking home from school, you learn the little routes, you know, you learn the alleys, you learn how to, you know, what gates to jump, you know, where no dogs at, you know, who was cool and make sure you don't jump into a rival gang backyard or some shit, you know.
Yeah.
So you had to learn how to survive at an early age. Back then you had a criminal mentality to survive in South Central when I came up.
So you had older brothers, and I remember you telling me, man, that that even though you had different mothers, all your brothers and sisters were all just considered brothers and sisters. They weren't like half brothers, or you guys are pretty tight.
Oh yeah, even to this day, man. You know, when
Yeah.
I got out, my biological brother from my mother and father and my other biological brother, shit, they bought me a Benz when I got out this
Oh
motherfucker,
wow,
man.
that's awesome.
You know,
Yeah.
so I wasn't talking about no half brothers. We ain't never said half brothers and you know this or that. You know, we always been you my brother, and it's still to this day. My father, that's how he raised us. You know,
And so you
my
had
father
older
gangster.
brothers that you kind of hung out with, and they kind of were they gang members, or were they just into crime, or what was the
All
deal?
my brothers was gang members, man. I still got brothers that's 50 years old now, still representing that bullshit. Well, I ain't, you know,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
them to each his own, man. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all of them was gang members. Each and every one of us, all 16 of us, even the girls represented.
Yeah, so they
So,
would have been back then. That's when all that stuff. So they would be like OG guys. I mean, that's back when that stuff was first getting started, right in LA.
they first generation, man. My older brothers, they first generation, yeah. You
Yeah.
know,
All right.
so
So, wow, that's pretty heavy. I mean, things have changed quite a bit since then.
yeah,
Um,
you know, the trip is, Mitch, right? I come up and then, you know, my brothers, they used to try to keep me away from it because they know I had talent in that baseball. But
yeah.
you know, I wanted to be around my brothers, man. So they would try to push me away, and I'd be sneaking around cars, hide, ducking in trees, following them around. Eventually, they just like, man, come on, man. We know you back there, man. You might as well hang out, you know, because we getting ready to go somewhere where it may get kind of shaky. So you
Yeah.
can't be lagging behind too far, you know.
Right.
So eventually, you know, like I say, I was in by birthright, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had to walk the crip line to get in. I just walked with my brothers and was in, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And so, did you know a lot of the original, like I heard you mention before, like Tookie and was Washington? Was
yeah, Raymond.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you know those guys
I
coming
didn't
up?
know I didn't know neither one of them personally, but Raymond came up with one of my cousins and my older brother. And
Yeah.
Tookie, you know, the West Side, you know, I had a cousin that was from, you know, West Boulevard. You know, they used to hang out a lot together all the way really until Tookie committed that crime and went to death row. You know,
Right.
so you know
Right.
I come up with a lot of them dudes, knowing them.
Right.
So you know, by knowing so many people and having cousins and brothers from different places, you know, I can go to Rosecrans skating ring or I can go to Hollywood skating ring. You know, you have to know somebody. Just to even go to the show downtown. When you said you was working downtown, you
Mhm.
couldn't go to the State and Tower if you didn't know nobody. You was getting jacked, man. You know, straight
Yeah.
up. You
Yeah.
know, you
Yeah.
couldn't go nowhere. You know, we were so grimy, man. We jack you for a beanie, man. We jack you for your tennis shoes, them old raggedy ass Kroger sacks, Chuck
Yeah.
Taylors. You know, we taking that. You know, uh, yeah, just everything. Your coat, you know. I remember
Right.
when brother first got his bomber jacket. That was one of the first things Crips wore. They wore either bomber jackets or waistline coats. You
Yeah.
know, I just got a picture not too long ago. Somebody sent me my brother back then when he had his old bomber jacket on. Man, I laughed because I was crying because I couldn't get a bomber jacket. Man, my mother said, "No, you can't get no damn jacket, boy." You know, she went and got me this old patent leather ass coat, man, and I had to wear that coat. So I went and stole somebody's coat. I went to Exposition Park and stole somebody's shit when they went swimming. So
Yeah.
that's what we used to do too. We go and we steal people clothes and shit, man.
Yeah.
You know, we was poor, man. It was
Yeah.
grimy. You could leave nothing in your yard. Toys, frisbees, football,
That's
skates, skateboard, any of that shit.
The South Central neighborhood, you know, I mean, that's really old part of LA, actually, right?
Yeah. Like if you look at Central Avenue used to be like thriving back in the days. You know, that used to be, you know, the Hollywood for the people back in the 40s and 50s when they was coming up down Central, that area where I stayed, from like Slauson, uh, Washington, you know, maybe a little shorter, but Central was thriving and it just failed, man. You know, and Central was grimy too, you know. So you got dudes, you know, not just in my hood, but everywhere. You know, I speak about my hood because it's mine, but you know, it was tough dudes all over that place. You know, dudes
Yeah.
had chunkums. You know, you had to knock a motherfucker out in order to survive, man. It was just that
Yeah.
simple.
And
And
then
you
like
damn still couldn't run.
you know where Florence is, all that, like, yeah, I tripped out because you have like black neighborhoods with Hispanic neighborhoods kind of intermingled all throughout that whole area, actually.
Yeah, the Hispanics, they didn't start coming until, you know, mm, mid early 70s, somewhere up in there, you know, you start to get
Yeah.
little trinkles, little of them in the neighborhoods now. Shit, now they all over the place, man. My park ain't
Yeah.
even my park no more. Y'all go to the park and, you
Yeah.
know, they playing soccer in that motherfucker now. They don't even play
Yeah.
basketball no more.
I mean,
So,
they had like traditional Chicano neighborhoods
oh yeah, they had their
there,
own, you know,
like
back then they used to,
next to each
F-13s was what
other.
they used to call them. That was like really, you know, neighborhoods, and then Trinity Park, you know, in the 20s, back then, you know, that park right there was a Mexican park. You know, the Outlaws, they used to be a Trinity Park too, but they were sharing it with the Mexicans too at the time, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know, the Mexicans, they had their little props though, you know, but we wasn't getting into it with the Mexicans so
Okay.
much back then like they're getting into it now with them,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
All right.
their numbers have got deeper and, you know, they start escalating their violence when
Yeah.
I believe that more so that we start getting about that shit. Because when that cocaine came in the neighborhood, them folks started trying to have their money, man. You know, when the
Yeah.
cocaine came in the late 70s and early 80s,
Mhm.
you know, people started having money and they was like, man, I ain't got time for this gang, man. It's about this paper. You
Yeah.
know, he was going out to Beverly Hills, you know, jacking for them juries and jury licks and fur licks. And, you know, we was, you know, starting to expand, you know, our criminal thinking. It was, you know,
Right.
starting to come into some real shit where you run the paper, you know, through the machines.
Right.
So we wasn't just counting them old stacks of money no more. We was really like starting to, you know, have stuff. This just depending on how much heart you used to have. You know, they say have heart to sleep in the park. That means either you're gonna have heart and make money, or you're gonna be a bum sleeping down in, you know, Gladys Park where you was at. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. I
so,
worked by Gladys Park on Sixth and yeah, Gladys. I worked there. I seen it. So I seen the bottom, you know. So I mean, a lot of guys. So what you're saying basically is people got involved with more serious crime as you started getting older, basically to avoid hitting that bottom.
right. And getting up out of there, you know, getting up out
Yeah.
of South Central was always something, you know. All the neighborhoods, you know, all the South Central though, you know, even if you was from the West Side, you know, the West Side, you know, dudes from the East Side, we say the West Side dudes was privileged, you know, and they were squares and stuff. But you know, you had tough dudes over there, and they was poor too, man. They was grimy, you
Yeah.
know. So, but you know, like I said, when you coming from whatever neighborhood you from, you know, you think your neighborhood is the baddest, you know. Then
Yeah.
you got dudes that's, you know, that you really look up to. He may go somewhere else and get his ass knocked out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, uh, but coming from South Central, just it was just different because you know people on the West Side they came up. We looked at like they came up with their mother and father living in the home. They came up with little jobs. You know, we was on the county, man. We was looking for that first and 15 check to come through. You know, for pops to come off and drop off some, you know, some money in order to steal something and drop something off, or you know, we steal something to help moms hustle. You know, my mother worked too, but you know, she didn't
Yeah.
couldn't make no real money because you know that county check was coming through too. So
Yeah.
we came
Well,
up poor, man.
when I got out, I lived on 54th in Vermont, in between Vermont and Hoover. So you're saying that that's kind of considered the West Side area?
Oh, that is the West Side. It ain't considered the West
Right.
Side.
So
That's the West Side.
that's the West Side of South Central.
Yeah. Well, you know, they try to be changing that shit up. You know, they got me confused with the shit now. You know,
Yeah.
because uh, South Central. You know, it used to just be the east side or the west side. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But you know, I
So
think
you're
after Reggie
saying
Denny, you know, they started like really labeling South Central LA and shit,
yeah,
man.
so
But
you're saying that was a better area than where you grew up over in the
oh
woods.
yeah, yeah, without a doubt,
Okay, yeah,
without a doubt, man.
yeah.
You know, street sweepers came through that neighborhood. We didn't get. I don't even remember us getting no street sweepers coming through our neighborhood to shit, man. Maybe the mid '70s or something. We used to have this one light pole in the middle of the block. You know, we didn't have lights from one end of the corner to the next. We had just one light in our street till shit. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
The mid '70s. When we got new street lights, we was all happy. We didn't know what they was doing when they first started digging the hole. We was, you know, trying to, you know, thinking they was putting some like telecom shit up in there to spy on us and
Trying
shit.
to
You know,
spy
trying
on
to
you
look at the
guys.
light, yeah, you know, fuck y'all doing up over here, you know. But we were so happy when them lights came on and lit our block up, man. You know, getting street lights on your block was something new, man.
Yeah. And so as you become an older teenager, because I know, were you a teenager when you went to prison?
No, I was 22 when I went to prison.
All right.
You know,
So
so the
right.
first time, you know, I was slick, man. You know, the first time I ever got caught with my crime, I was about 16. You know, I was a getaway car driver in Beverly Hills. You know, they was out there, you know, stealing some furs and shit. And I think
Yeah,
we went and hit Ben Mark Furs and California Jewelry or something like that, man.
yeah.
And I was a getaway car driver. I was about 16, 17 years old.
All
And, you know,
right.
we got caught, you know, all the whole Beverly Hills police force that came down on me, man. But at that time, everybody was going out to Beverly Hills. You know, the Rolex watches was a big old thing, and them jewelry licks was a big thing. You know, Mr. T
Yeah.
came out with all the jewelry. You know, everybody used to want to
Yeah.
be like Mr. T. So we went out and stole ours. We couldn't afford that shit, man. So we just running in. You know, if you didn't tie nothing down where I came from, man, it was considered yours, man. Shit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So we went and we stole jewelry, we stole furs, and that's when I got my first arrest, man. I didn't have a long history of youth authority, you know, juvenile home, but
Right.
all them dudes in my hood that went and came out, you know, they still had to fight. You know, most of them had to come through me to, you know, be about something, man. So, you know, I was just slick, man. You know, that's how most people are who eventually get caught. You know, we think we slick, you know, and I thought
Right.
I was slick. I don't know about nobody else. I can't speak for them, but I
That's
was
not going to
always
happen
the
to
best
me.
of what I did.
Yeah, they think, you know, I'm not going to get caught. It's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, until it happened.
Yeah.
And I remember when I
So,
got to old Folsom, I was 25 years old. I had life without the possibility of parole, and I looked around that motherfucker. I was around a whole bunch of killers, man. You know,
yeah.
motherfuckers looking like Brock Lesnar and shit. I'm like, damn, what I done got my motherfucking self into, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, fuck it, you know, I'm from off the east side, man. You know, whatever, man. You know, like, I got to do it. You know, I'm doing life. I know I had, like I said, I was 25 years old with life without the possibility of parole, and I was in there, you know, with a bunch of sharks, man. I was a little shark too, man. You know, so
So from the 16 to the 22, obviously your criminal behavior kind of just increased to the point where you got arrested for something that
oh
got you
yeah,
life without.
yeah. You know, and I don't want to name drop, you know, because I don't want nobody else's name
Yeah.
really on here. You know, I'm glad. In fact, earlier when someone was going, I had mentioned a couple of homeboys, but their names probably they don't want on here, man. You know,
Yeah.
but I came up with some reputable people, man, and some dudes that eventually started having big money. You
Yeah.
know, later on in life, you know, some names that people know, and
Right.
other names that's, you know, some real prominent figures. You know, people who did some way out shit, man. You know, my shit was way out. You know, I ain't trying to glorify my crime because
Yeah.
I don't look at it like that. You know, it was
Yeah.
a stupid act, you know, that I did, man. But yeah, I perfected my criminal enterprise when I was, you know, through I say from about really 15. You know, I remember I broke into this place and stole like shit, maybe a couple of pallets of Jordache jeans. That's when them Jordache jeans that came out. I think
Yeah.
Gloria and Sassoon
Yeah.
jeans was out at the time, but I hit that Jordache lick. I hit that Jordache lick, man. I didn't look back, man. You know, I got a taste of some real money, man. You know, and shit, I had to hit big licks after that ever since, man. You know, but yeah. So I started perfecting my criminal enterprise like right after that lick, man.
Right.
And ever since then, it was all about money, man. You know, like I said, I was one of them dudes, cause coming up with my brothers, like I said, they was always older. So in order to prove I can hang out with the older dudes, I had to do what the older dudes did. So when I got around dudes my age, you know, it was second nature for me. You know, they looked at it like, damn, this dude is crazy. But it was like, man, this shit ain't nothing. I've been doing this. This how you get money. So for my little crew, I started teaching them how to get money. You know, I was turning them on to big licks, man, because like I said, I was hanging around dudes that was getting big licks, man. And you know, I went out backwards. That's what they call it, going out backwards, man. I went out backwards on this other little lick I did. Uh, I called this my last lick, and it was my motherfucking last lick, because shit, I went and did 32 years after this lick, man. And I'm glad to say I ain't never looked to do another damn lick in my life, man. You know,
Yeah.
because it cost me 32 years of my life, man.
You got arrested when you were 22?
Yeah.
On the thing that got you a long prison sentence. So
yeah.
And your sentence was life without?
Yeah, they was looking to kill me, Mitch. I think I was telling you about that when was locked up, man. I went through death penalty shit, man. They spared my life and gave me life without the possibility of parole, you know.
Right.
I had beat that shit. There was something they call a Livesley letter or some shit they gave me in the DHOs, you know, to like give me a pass, man. So I still wound up with life without the possibility of parole. And then I fought, and I thought I was getting ready to win, thought I was going home, went down to the county jail twice on appeal, man. And shit, man, they sent my black ass back with 2 life sentences, man. So I had 225 to life sentences, man. They was ran bow-legged. I had 50 to life.
Wow.
And I paroled with that 50 to life, man.
So when you got this life without term and you go off, did you go to Chino?
Yeah, I went through Chino for reception and straight to Old Folsom, you know.
Right.
Old
Straight up to Old
Folsom.
Folsom. What year did you get to Old Folsom?
Shit, this was 89.
All right.
You know, 89. So when I got there, you know, my homies was telling me, oh, it's the violence is starting to decrease. And I'm like, man, how the hell the violence decrease the first day I get on the yard, you know? Motherfucker gets shot. They done, you know, I'm still in my old remember Chino used to give you them little karate shoes and little old wrinkled pants. I got my old wrinkled blue shirt on. I got my pants tied up with a rope or shoestring or some shit. And they stab a motherfucker. They shooting that motherfucking Mini 14 and down on the yard. And
yeah,
shit, man, I had to strip out. You know?
Folsom didn't use shotguns.
Yeah, no,
San Quentin, they used shotguns and the Mini 14, but Old Folsom, all they would use was the Mini 14.
Yeah, they was knocking motherfuckers' kneecaps off, knocking their heads off. You know, they wasn't playing with you, man.
Yeah.
You know, so you learn fast, man.
For guys that don't know, I mean, for people that watch this that don't understand, you know, why they would shoot you in prison, I mean, can you give them an idea of the kind of behavior that was going on that would lead the guards to shoot you? And were the guards just walking around the yard with guns, or, you know, can you give them kind of a picture?
No, they didn't carry no guns on the ground. You know, they carried one on their hip and they carried that Mini 14. You know, they was shooting people because we was killing people. You know, it was murderers up there, dudes that was looking at no hope. You know, like I said, I had life without. You had dudes may have 300 years of life, another dude may have 3 or 4 different life sentences. So, you know, dudes was killing each other. So when they shoot you to kill you, or they shoot to harm you because you finna kill somebody else. So you may be getting ready to kill a guard, you know. Dudes was up there with that kill mentality. You know, if you wasn't ready to kill, you don't go to the yard. You know, it was just that simple.
Right.
You know.
And the guards were on they were on the wall or the gun rail up off the ground.
But, you know, they patrolled too. You know, they patrolled 2, 3 deep. You know.
I mean, the ones with the rifles, they weren't on the ground.
No, they wasn't on the ground, but they patrolled. You know, when you hear that, they back then they had the no warning shot. You know, you know, later on they got we're gonna shoot in the ground. You know, and when we shoot this little bullet in the ground, y'all get down. But back then there wasn't no warning shot. You know, something going on. If it ain't your business, it's best to stay away, because when they start shooting, they shooting to kill you. Or like I say, it was a lot of kneecaps that used to got blowed out. You know, those dudes walking around now with one leg because they got their leg shot off. You know.
And guys asked me about fighting. You know, I said there really wasn't a lot of fighting back then. It was mostly.
Nah, it wasn't no problems, man. You know, shit, I ain't got time to be fighting a motherfucking and seeing him next time he put a knife in my throat, man. You know, you want to kill somebody.
They would shoot you for fighting too.
Yeah, no horse playing. Like, you know, later on, them dudes start playing, grabbing each other, wrestling and all that.
Well, they would shoot you for horse playing
They
too.
shoot you for horse playing. You know,
Right.
if you
They
put
would
your
shoot
fist
you
up, if you look like you was in combat, you get shot.
if you ran too fast or even jogged like trotting along too fast in the wrong area of the yard, they would shoot you.
Only running when I was at Folsom was on the track. You couldn't run nowhere else, so you're gonna get shot.
You couldn't
You know,
trot along a little
no,
fast. You
hell no,
couldn't
ain't
do
no
none of that.
running in prison. Ain't no moving too fast. You can't walk too fast because if you walk up on me too fast, I don't know you. I think you're gonna do something to me, and I may, turn around and do something to you. And
Right.
like I said, it was that live or die mentality. You had to survive, man.
Guys had pretty hard mentality. I was in San Quentin. That's where I started, and it's the same thing. At level 4. I'm never. Guys with a lot of guys with life sentences. A lot of gang members. I think at 89, the prison gang members, most of you got locked all up, but there was still a lot of madness going on, man. So, what kind of things were going through your mind when you first experienced? You got a life without sentence.
Man,
You're in
how in the
prison where
fuck
guys
am
are
I gonna get
killing
out of
each
here?
other.
I trip off dudes too, right? It's funny when you're a criminal, you be like, well, I don't give a fuck if I go to prison. I don't give a fuck what. But as soon as they put them cuffs, I don't know about nobody else. I'm saying for me, as soon as they put them cuffs on me, my first thought was, how I'm gonna get out this shit.
Yeah.
So from the first time they put them cuffs on me, I was trying to figure out how I'm gonna get out and as fast as possible. So, and on this, I don't care if you're doing 1 day or 100 years, you want to get out as soon as possible. So all that old big shit, I'm gonna get in here and do the rest of my life. Dudes be following them appeals,
Yeah.
dudes be trying to get people to lie for them. Dudes trying to get out of it. It's a madhouse, man. You eating shit. You shitting where you live.
Yeah.
Living
in a box.
Yeah, no motherfucker shitting where you sleeping at. It's foul.
Yeah, you eat, sleep, and shit all in the same place. And
All
if
in
you're
the
locked
same
down
place.
for 6-8 months at a time, you're gonna shower in there too.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's foul. So from the time I got in there, my thing was, I was trying to get dudes to go over and make witnesses recant. I still had a little change left, so I'm still, man, I'll pay the dude to do it, man. Y'all go through there and, put some work in, make this motherfucker change his mind. I did threats and all kind of stuff to get out of my crime.
Yeah.
I was a criminal. I wanted to get away with stuff. So my mind was always set on getting out of prison until I remember one of my partners told me, my thing was always trying to escape. I was like, man, I got life sentence. They ain't never let me out. When I first got there, I remember my counselor, her name was Miss Climax. So she said, you ain't never getting out of prison. And I was like, shit, bitch, you got me fucked up. I'm finna get up out of here.
Yeah.
So I was always looking for, I said, they're gonna let me out the front door, the back door, a window, or I'm gonna go under the floor. But I'm gonna go. That was my little little saying.
Yeah.
So even from the county jail, I was looking for ways trying to escape. I didn't ever, get no way out, man. But I was always plotting to get out until it just came to me that the reality was if I didn't change my thinking, if I didn't change my behavior, I would stay there forever. I remember my first wife told me that if I didn't change, I was going to die in prison. And I hated her for that, but that reality was that if I didn't change my thinking, if I didn't change my behavior, I'd be stuck up in there because, it's for animals, it's for people who used to think the way that I think, and the way you thought, we was tough guys, man.
But,
I thought we was.
So for your first, how long were you in Old Folsom?
Shit, I did Old and New Folsom, going back and forth from 89 to like 97, 98.
Right.
Then I remember that last little ride they had on B Yard at the Old Folsom New Folsom in 96. It was a real big one. It was nasty. I said, man, I got to get out of here, man. This shit's crazy. So my points was right on the verge of level 3. But we used to say, I ain't never going to no level 3. There's buses in them level 3s and 2s,
Yeah.
I got to be in a level 4. I ain't never, fuck that, Man, it was like it's time to go. So my points was right at that verge. I was getting ready to give me another write-up. I'm probably gonna sock somebody in the mouth or get a little case or something where they can keep my points up. But I said, man, it's time for me to go home, start seeing my family. It's starting to cost too much, man. it was hard on my mother. I was looking at my mother and I was wearing my mother out, man,
Yeah.
wearing them bras out, and my family and, the homeboys, they start falling off and, you know, some truths they were standing around, but it was like, it's just too hard on people, and this is some
Yeah.
shit that I'm doing, I'm causing more misery now to my family along with my victims. And it was just time for me to start changing. So I started, reevaluating just what it was that I had to do to get up out of there. And it was to change my life, man.
So
I
this
was,
was
I was,
around 96.
yeah, about, yeah, end of night, well, not quite. Yeah, around 96, 97. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Uh, but I never did think that I would ever leave before. That's what they, when you had life without I don't care if your points were zero. They used to give you points. Remember, you used to get minus
Right.
21. And,
Right.
you'd have minus points. You had points to play with, but you still were stuck at a level 4 because of your crime, you know.
Right. And
And
so did you get your life? You got your life without taking off?
yeah, I got the life without out early in the game. I was one of the ones that, them legal beagles, you say, "Hey, youngster, man, how you get your life without, man? Let me read your transcripts, man. Let me see what the pills took did, man. Somebody else might could use your case, man. And I was like, man, shit, yeah, here, read this motherfucker, 'cause I'm gone, I'm out of here. But they
Yeah.
sent me back twice, man. The first time I went back for a mistrial hearing, and the second time I went back for an appeal. And, they didn't want to let me go no technicality, and to
Yeah.
be for real, it wasn't time for me to go no technicality because I still had that criminal mind, man.
Sure.
I,
Sure.
I wouldn't have been no good on the streets. I probably would have killed somebody again or got killed, man. So,
But they
um,
took the life without off.
yeah, they took the life without off. They gave me bow-legged 25 life sentences. So I had 50 to life.
Right.
I had 2 life
Right.
sentences,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I fought like
And when you have life without, you're stuck in a level 4 prison forever back then.
period. Yeah, back then you stuck. You ain't never going nowhere. So
So now you got your life without taking off. You could go down to a level. So did you go down to a level
I
3?
eventually got to a level 3, man. I said I'd never go. I
Yeah.
remember when I went to that first level 3, when I went to Delano, when I was still wearing my jacket all up here,
Yeah.
buttoned up, not showing nobody my yokes and, walking around. Dudes just walking around in flip flops and shit. I'm saying, what's wrong with these busters, man? I'm wearing that old hot ass coat and,
Yeah.
sweat beaming down my back, but I can't let them see me sweat, man, and walking by myself, I didn't know none of them suckers, man. That's how I felt, man. You busters at these level 3s. Ain't number of busters at these 3s.
Yeah.
But I started meeting some more crews that had stepped down, and I was like, I gradually, um, start getting into a humbler mindset, to where, I can do this. And I never thought I'd get to a level 2. And I wanted to get to a level 2, because the point system has started changing, the laws have started changing.
Right.
Mindset was definitely changing. I was in them little self-help groups and therapy, seeing a shrink all the way through. I've been seeing a shrink since I was a kid, man, because
Oh yeah.
they couldn't figure out like what was wrong with this dude. The dude got good sense, he's smart, but he's violent,
Well,
and
when
I
you're a
didn't realize where
lifer,
that rage was coming from.
when you're a lifer in the prison system, they have different programs set up for lifers and stuff, and they're all run by psychs usually. But so how long were you in Delano before? And did they have any programs? Did you start getting involved with like any programs?
Yeah, they didn't have no
NPA,
program for lifers, man. They had
self-help?
all them programs for dudes that what they used to call them medium A or something like that. You had that little low custody. I was always close A, close B, close this. You can't go here, you can't go there. But
Right.
they didn't have no programs for dudes that was life. So we tried to start a program back then. It was a lifers club, and we had a little psych lady. I forgot her name, but she tried to open up a little group. But I eventually got kicked out that yard for doing something. I don't even remember what I did. Probably started rioting or something, man. But I got kicked out of Delano. Then I went to Wasco, and I was still trying to half in, half out.
Yeah.
Got kicked out of that shit for something else too. I was trying to entice a guard to help me escape. So they
Yeah.
kicked me up out that motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
And when I got to Solano, man, I think I did like 11 years at Solano, but it was so laid back. And I was like, man, I think I could see myself going home from here,
Yeah.
because they started having programs. And once I started, talking to psychs and getting into these programs and I'm starting to find out them core beliefs, like I was telling you, coming up with Pops, man, he instilled some different values in me that wasn't conducive to my freedom. You know, it was all geared to put me in prison. Uh, I think I got another brother that's in prison right now. You know, he killed somebody else, but all of us was either geared to win or lose. That's how Pops looked at it. You know, either win or lose. Ain't no gray area, you know.
Yeah.
So, but when I got to Solano, they started having those groups, and I started taking advantage of them. You know, start picking up that Bible again. You know, turning my head to the sky, man. You know, and I realized it didn't matter how strong I was, I still need to call on the strength that was mightier than me. You know, and that was God. You know, and He started opening up my heart and started sending me through them groups. I started listening. You know, I was kind of guy like say I was always getting away with stuff, and I didn't listen.
Did you run into people along the way that kind of give you a little influence, like convict dudes that you knew from the streets or during prison that kind of influenced you to start thinking a different light?
And I ran across these two brothers, man. I said,